a whole lot to touch on before we start talking football and what a lot of fans saw from Michigan over the weekend. Just want your take on the Csont'e York news. I mean, we talked about it last week. I said he was going to be lucky to remain on the football team, and Brady announced yesterday that he actually will not remain on the football team, on the Michigan football team. That doesn't mean, though, that this young man doesn't still have an opportunity in front of him to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate the way things played out, but Brady Hoke has a job to do, and I'm sure it hurt Brady to dismiss Csont'e from the program. I think he's doing it to make a statement. He has to. It's almost like putting one of your kids out the house once they've gone too far. You love them, but they've got to learn, and there's just no place for it right here. He'll be fine. He'll transfer. Hopefully he can transfer somewhere and sit out a year and learn and red shirt and then get back, get on the field eventually and play somewhere. But there's no place for his actions in Michigan's program or any program. And I think the stakes are so high at Michigan right now that you just got to have zero tolerance for anything. It might be a little bit different if you were winning. It might have a little bit more tolerance, but when you start losing, and I don't want that to go too far, Sam, what I'm saying, but when the program isn't where you want it to be, there's the tolerance level changes, because there's been worse things in the past that people have been dismissed for, but even still, there's no place for that.
Yeah, there will be some program that will give him that opportunity after he pays whatever legal and maybe civil consequence that he's called upon to pay. But, very same day, the Joe Mixon story, Joe Mixon, 5-star running back out of California, goes down to Oklahoma as an early enrollee, hits a woman in the face and breaks 4 bones in her face, and he's out for a year. He's suspended for a year, so he's still with the program. And I say that to say that there's going to be a program that gives Csont'e York an opportunity. If that kid can keep an opportunity after doing that to a woman, Csont'e York is going to find some program out there that'll give him an opportunity to use his athletic skills and parlay that into an academic future also, if he so chooses. So time will tell, Marcus. Hopefully he picks up the pieces.
Yeah, I agree with that, sir. That's unfortunate what happened down in Oklahoma, but it really just depends on the program. And now with the Big Five moving to autonomy, you just never know. Like when you create your own rules and you start to have your own thing, some schools are going to get rid of you. Some may suspend you for a year. I mean, sometimes when I reflect back, when I got suspended my senior year, for a concert and a ticket, a phone call and a concert, I always wondered, like, man, was that really 6 games, or was that just kind of like, and when I saw what Peter Ward did, and he was able to rejoin the team and play and got all the support he needed, it just kind of makes you wonder. So it just happens differently at other places, but at Michigan, the standard is so high that there's just no place for that, man. And Brady understands that tradition, and, we got to move forward. But hopefully Csont'e goes to another school, probably a smaller environment, like a Central Michigan type environment, and play football and be able to graduate and kind of stay out of the way.
Right, yeah, and by no means am I suggesting that the standard shouldn't be high, that the decision wasn't the right one. My first inclination was that, I don't know how they're going to keep him, but that's not my place. Not knowing the young man as well as his coach does, and being able to make that character versus moment kind of comparison or assessment that you have to make. Brady made that determination. So, like I said, hopefully he can pick it up. Now let's talk some football, Marcus. I don't know. Were you at the scrimmage, or have you seen any of the YouTube clips? I mean, there are some people that put the entire scrimmage up on YouTube. I'm wondering if you were able to catch any of that.
No, I was on Big Ten Network Saturday night.
Okay.
I had a show. We were talking Minnesota and went over some things. So I got there Friday, and then my show was on Saturday. But other than that, I would have been there. I saw a few clips of the scrimmage, though. I didn't get a chance to take it to the lab.
Okay, so how about this, Marcus? Let's see. You were at the spring game, so let's just take the spring game and say it happened Let's say that's what happened on Saturday. Now, I think the defense was even better. I thought Willie Henry was the best player on the football field. He was lights out.
Man, you're selling Bo Deaver short.
Man, Willie Henry was the man out there on Saturday. But, a lot of fans, if you can take that mental picture of the spring game, Marcus, a lot of fans are ready to say, oh, it's over, season's done. The offensive line is going to be terrible this year. I guess, Marcus, I expected the offensive line to be where it is at this point. Not very good, but to hopefully grow over the season. Was that assessment misplaced, or is that prediction misplaced or misguided? What do you see in this team, and should people be panicking right now if they saw a spring game-like performance halfway through fall camp?
Well, yeah, no one should be panicking. I mean, this is training camp. And the old Allen Iverson, I'm glad he said it. We're talking about practice, not a game, practice. Now, if they go out and look like that versus App State, then start to get nervous. But worry is like paying interest on a debt that you may never owe. Our offensive line. So you want our offensive line to dominate our defense? That's when you're really going to get scared and then worried, like, our defense can't stop anybody. Our line's not any good, but they ran it down our defensive stroke. So what do you think Notre Dame's going to do? See, that's why I don't listen to all that, because I know what I'm watching. So as I analyze this, let me make this real clear, Sam. The defense is supposed to win in training camp. Those kids have been going against each other for 6 months now. You don't think that defense knows what's coming? You don't think that they don't know the checks, or they know how to whoop Mason Cole or push Kyle Kalis around a little bit? It's going to be competitive, but you want the defense to be dominating, because that's the group that really carries teams. In September, carried Michigan State all year. But Michigan's offense is going to be just fine. It may not be world-beating. They may not have a big-time running back go for 1,500, but that offensive line is going to get better when they play against an opponent. I just think once they start playing games, Sam, it'll get better. But to worry yourself about a scrimmage or a practice or, oh, my God, some of the same from last year, what is there to be worried about? Everybody's undefeated. These kids are getting better. It's going to come together. They need new competition. And App State, when Michigan runs the ball down their throat, and then everybody's going to feel a little bit better, but then they're going to say, you got to do it against Notre Dame. So you're going to have the people worried week to week. I'm not worried. I think this offense will be fine.
I think they'll be fine eventually, Marcus. I do share that opinion with you. I think there are going to be some periods early in the season, maybe not against App State, but there are going to be some periods early in the season where they struggle. But I think they have a good enough defense to carry them through that. Another ingredient in that, though, Marcus, is having a quarterback that is an excellent game manager and decision maker. And, Brady said he saw some he said Devin played decent, but he saw some decisions in there that just weren't the kind of decisions that he threw the ball away at one point, but he threw it away down the sideline and was almost picked off. Now, the next play after Nussmeier got in his face, he threw it out of bounds. It does seem like, while there is no quarterback controversy, it does seem like that Michigan does have a kid in Shane that can keep a little more heat on Devin than the backup quarterback or than Shane was able to keep on him last year.
Well, regardless of who plays or who's in there, every team in the Big Ten is going to need two quarterbacks. I mean, I've been watching the two quarterback system at Purdue. You see it kind of moving and shaking up near Wisconsin. Ohio State, that may be their biggest enemy. Michigan State's going to need to find one. So, I mean, having two quarterbacks is what you need. It saved Ohio State's season a year ago, saved Michigan State's season. So, Michigan needs to have a second guy anyways. Mm-hmm. To me, Devin is the guy.
No doubt.
And the problem with everybody being in Devin's head, if Devin can stay out of his own mind, he'll be just fine. So what if you throw an interception? Show me a quarterback for real other than Nick Foles last year that really just took care of the ball like they were supposed to. He's going to make some mistakes. Let him play. He is the quarterback. Of course, we want him to minimize those mistakes, throw the ball away sometimes, but there's going to be times when he's going to have to make a play, and then sometimes the ball may get tipped around. But I think everybody wants him to play absolutely perfect or go with Shane. But it doesn't matter because Shane's going to throw the ball to the other team too.
And he did.
Yeah. See, I didn't even see that, but I can tell you that that's how it's going to be at quarterback. Michael Taylor was an option quarterback, and he threw an interception. So it doesn't matter. Like, listen, let Devin play and let him win the games he's going to win for you. If he throws an interception against Notre Dame in the second quarter, don't start yelling, pull Devin, because it can get worse. If they give that boy a chance to play and coach him up, then he'll be fine. But I don't think he should play looking over his shoulder because Shane is standing there.
Right. Here's the key difference. Look, it's and this is what I think Nussmeier was saying to him, because I'm with you and I have been with you on Devin all along. He's the guy. He's your fifth-year senior. Your veteran experience on offense. Your only veteran experience on offense. But the play where that was almost picked off wasn't a play where he was trying to make a play. Mm-hmm. It was a play where you're throwing the football away. So his point was, if you're throwing the football away,
throw it away.
Throw it away. Don't throw it where people are. That's when when Brady was talking about decisions, making smart decisions. It wasn't even taking that wasn't even one where he was trying to take a chance. Mm-hmm. That was one where if you're throwing away the football, throw it away out of bounds. Now, to Devin's credit, I think it might have been the next play where heat was coming. That time he rolled out and threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, I see what you're saying now. Okay, yeah. He gonna have to do that for sure. If you gonna slide. If you're gonna throw it out of bounds, throw it up to the press box, or throw it somewhere or way back behind the goalpost somewhere. But yeah, Devin needs to work on that kind of stuff. But then I think as a fifth-year senior, guy who's 22, 23 years old, whatever it is, football-wise, it's time for him to be able to make those plays on his own, because you're not going to be on the field with him telling him that same stuff during the play. You see what I'm saying? He's got to know that going into every game. That's meeting room stuff.
Right. So
Devin should know that before he even gets under center.
Right. And again, like you say, man, you're going to take some chances. He might throw some interceptions trying to make a play. But again, that was different, and I think that's why Nussmeier was on him in that instance. Like, come on, man, this is not that. And me, I think he's the guy without question. But one of the ways in order to make sure those kind of messages take hold is to make sure that. And you said this, Marcus. There's a guy there that if you don't make smart decisions in that instance, there's a guy there that you at least have an alternative. But that's not a guy that you don't go into the season and say, hey, I'm about to go to Shane. Just if you don't see the type of improvement in that regard that you want to see, you have a better alternative there than you had last year. I want to touch on something else here real quick, Marcus. When we look at the some of the things on defense, and you said it, the defense is supposed to be ahead right now. People are saying, well, how good is this defense? How good can it possibly be, or could you tell it is by watching the spring game? Marcus, I saw Willie Henry come off the ball and completely destroy a 6'6", 310-pounder. Now, I mean, Marcus, he ran over Chris Fox like he wasn't even there and kept it moving, going on to the play. Now, I don't care if it's 6'6", 310 pounds off the street. That, to me, is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive. And when you see plays like that, Sam, then that should tell you that the defense will probably end up being a little bit better, because that D-line didn't get that type of surge consistently last year. If they get those four guys playing together with Henry back in the mix and up in there, get Pipkins and those guys and all that, everything will start up front. If you look at the best programs in the Big Ten, they have a front seven, and that's what Michigan has. But Michigan also has a secondary that's coming back that was productive. They made some changes. Let me go back to my point. Ohio State has the best defensive line in the conference, period. Okay? Now, you talk about Bosa and Spence and Washington and those guys up front. I mean, that's going to be hard to defend. So everybody's starting to build from the front to back. Madison knows that. Michigan State's defensive line was better than their secondary, in my opinion, because I played secondary. You need those guys up front in the run and the pass game. So Michigan's defense will be better with guys like Henry and Clark getting that push, Byer, Wormley, all those guys, if they play for real and get some penetration and call some negative plays like everybody else's defense calls Michigan's offense negative plays, that secondary is going to be all right. And you got two pretty good linebackers in there, okay? The D-line is the I'm glad you brought him up. The D-line is the indicator of the reason that the defense will be better.
You're talking to Marcus Ray for a few minutes more here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. That was one of my gauges, Marcus, because you don't necessarily have to use the offense to benchmark the defense. I saw plays like that consistently from Willie Henry. That's the type of stuff that translates. Moher's quickness, it translates. You aren't going to ask him to play as many snaps as maybe you asked Jabril Black to play. You got 100% Jake Ryan. But here's the other thing that I use to benchmark it, Marcus. Last year, the team leader in tackles was Raymond Taylor. Last year, the team leader in interceptions was Blake Countess. Last year, the third leading tackler on the team was Desmond Morgan. All three of those guys, Marcus, in the scrimmage were backups. You had Jordan Lewis, Jabril Peppers, and Joe Bowden all with the ones. If those guys are sitting down 3 fourth-year guys, doesn't that tell you that those guys must be doing pretty well in practice?
Sam, you're exactly right. But don't read too much into it. Coaches like to mix up lineups because they want to put the best 11 out there. They want to find out who plays well together, and that's what you want, is high competition. I had a feeling that Desmond Morgan would get beat out in the spring. Joe Bowden really came on. But as far as the cornerback position, that right there that's more of a competition than the quarterback. No one's really talking about, besides you, the fact that, listen, but see, Blake and Ray were productive last year, but that's on paper. See, 106 tackles as a cornerback, how many tackles 86. It was, that's too many. Either you're getting thrown at a lot or some things aren't working out. Blake he played the ball pretty well. He had a couple of gimmies. I'm going to take nothing from him. But that boy 26, this Jordan Lewis, who got beat for a touchdown against Ohio State, he's been playing like a man possessed. Jabril Peppers is probably the best player on the team. So it only makes sense that you're going to have a high level of competition. And what you did last year don't excite me. If you went 7-6 and you gave up almost about 32 points a game your last 8 games, that wasn't good enough. So Michigan pretty much in the secondary had open competition. And that's why I was telling you a couple of weeks ago, somebody needs to push Jared Wilson like that because you're going to need somebody next to him or pushing him. Because if he goes down and you can't make those checks out there, I don't care who you got at cornerback, it ain't going to happen. So but they're developing some high competition, and Ray and Blake should be sitting down. If Jordan young Breezy out there killing them, sit down somewhere because you went 7-6. You don't got nothing to show for it, but you led the Big Ten interception. Hey, you led our team in tackles last year, and we weren't very good. Congratulations. But I also watched Ray Taylor give up some long runs, not with taking the wrong pursuit angle and not getting people on the ground. So he missed a lot of tackles too.
Yeah, and to be clear, those guys are going to play. But, man, Brady said it's on film. The guys that are on the field right now are on the field because it shows they should be when you look back at the film. Marcus, last one for you before we let you go. So news out of Columbus. I don't know how many people you talked to back down in your hometown, but you got some news on this, Ira?
Well, there's no update on him, but I hadn't read the full story. It's not like he got hit. He threw, felt something, they took him off the field. That's the story. I didn't realize the full story because I read, part of the notes, but I didn't read the entire full story. A non-contact injury to Braxton Miller. And now
on the shoulder that he had repaired.
On the surgically repaired shoulder, his throwing shoulder, and now we await word on an MRI. Obviously, they await word a lot more so in Columbus than we do, but we will be watching idly by here up in Ann Arbor.
Obvious, Marcus, it would be a huge loss, but just your take. If Ohio State is without Braxton Miller for any stretch, just your take on how big a blow that will be for them.
Well, that's going to be a blow because they don't have Kenny Guyton anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Les Cardell Jones can step in and play lights out, but Kenny Guyton has been around, man. I tell you, he really saved Ohio State when Braxton Miller went down. Well, Ohio State is a different team identity-wise without Miller. And at one point, they were without Hyde and Miller. So Ohio State has talent, man. I mean, they can stick some guys in and find a way to beat their non-conference opponents. But without Braxton Miller last year, they wouldn't have done a lot of the stuff that they did. But really, Kenny Guyton was putting up numbers too. That's why I said you need two quarterbacks. And at the end of the day, Urban Meyer's system is too hard on Braxton Miller. You ask him to do too much, to run, pass, do all of that, and that's why none of his quarterbacks will probably ever do well in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a system guy. Come in, run the ball, get pounded, and then win for me, and go on to the NFL, and then jump on TV and start talking about it.
And it might not even be Cardale Jones. As a matter of fact, it's the redshirt freshman, right, Ira? That's in line.
Yeah, a lot of people saying that J.T. Barrett would probably get the nod even over Cardale.
Oh, Barrett?
Yeah. So, all right, Marcus, Rays of Light, how can people get their hands on them, and when will you next be on BTN?
I'll start with the latter. I'll be on BTN this Thursday coming up, the 21st. I'm actually going to Columbus tonight so I can take my son Marquise to kindergarten in the morning. You know, I'm still a father, Sam, so even though I'm not in Columbus, man, I'm going to get down there and take care of what I need to take care of. And I'm going to fly out to Chicago tomorrow night from Columbus, and I'll be on there Thursday. I'm not sure what we're going to discuss. Probably a lot of the stuff we're talking about now, too. So appreciate the early platform. And then, Rays of Light, call me. Call me, 734-645-9618. Email me, too, mray29@gmail.com. Real quick, though, Sam, I just thought about this. If Brady's going to throw Csont'e York the team for what he did, that means that he's got to start getting rid of everybody. I don't know. Like, he could have got rid of LeJuan and got rid of that kicker. And if you're going to get rid of this boy, if that's how it's going to be, don't wait till the third person to throw him out and let the other two get away with it. Now, there's probably different circumstances, different stuff that went into it. But if the kids get in trouble and we start to get rid of people, you got to get rid of everybody.
I guess I agree to a point. I do think the circumstances were different here. First of all, you certainly had indisputable evidence of what took place. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anyone that will disagree with what was on film.
So without the video, do you think he?
With the Brendan Gibbons case, you talk about a coach who that occurred and was supposed to have been handled before he got here.
That's true.
Before he got here. So, it was only after, and I don't know whether he did it or not. I'm not saying that he was innocent or guilty. I'm just saying the criteria for guilt or innocence changed, not the guilt or innocence itself. I don't know either way. I just know by the time he got here, that had already taken place. And for folks who are placing there are rival fans that are making it an issue of, hey, it's he just wanted to keep the kicker on. Man, the kicker. Brendan Gibbons wasn't very good when Brady Hoke got here.
He was like 1 of 20 when he got here.
He was like 1 of 20, man. I mean, if you were using that, if you were that kind of guy to use that as your criteria, how good a kid is as to whether or not you keep him or not, he wouldn't have been putting it on the line for a guy like Brendan Gibbons, performance-wise. So again, like I said, this one to me, this was different.
He had to do it.
Because I don't know Csont'e York. I didn't say that he had to do that. Mm-hmm. My thing was, look, the kid, and you know whether or not this was an example of a recurrence of bad behavior, or if this was just a single bad decision, and you had to make your assessment accordingly.
Hey, Sam, I know y'all got to get to a break, but I guess I'm just saying, like, we used to fight a lot when Coach Moeller was there. I mean, we used to fight. I probably pushed Ira down the court 3 a couple times at the CCRB. But, I mean, we were really a roughhouse bunch, and there was some stuff going on like that without no video. That's why I asked you, do you think the video make a difference?
Oh, the video makes a huge difference because it removes all doubt.
But see, when the 97 team got into a fight with the Omega Psi Phi Q Dogs, a Royal Rumble, flat out, let your hands go, everybody stealing on everybody, sucker punching people, then nobody get dismissed from the team. So that's
they may have if there was video.
And Coach Carter watched the video. Hey, Coach Carter. Oh, hey, that Ian Gold, he should be a boxer. Hey, Singletary was in there, bro. It was the brawl for it all. It was over women and all that stupid stuff.
I heard
but
all about it. Heard all about it.
See what I'm saying? So we got into, there was some sucker punching and stuff going on, but I guess times have changed, coaches changed. That's why I want to know if the video has something to do with it.
There's
but
no
you know
doubt.
what? At the end of the day, live clean, come clean, and think clean, baby. I used to like. I'll talk to y'all next week. Check me on Thursday, Sam.
All right. Thanks a lot, Marcus. Appreciate your time.